There's a lot of topics that I would like to discuss tonight, but we will focus on the IWG. People recognized my work who were also working on the comfort women issue. So one person who had been researching this for quite a long time had arranged for brief me. So they briefed me for 3 days on the comfort women issue. The comfort women issue obviously has been going on for a long time and it's complex. But I did agree to look at it. So I looked at it and researched it on my own and decided there really was some geopolitical interest here that were strategic in nature. They didn't just deal with the comfort women issue. There was something much larger going on. And that the comfort women issue was actually just a subset, and actually even a small part of it, but a very emotional part. Now keep in mind, during the early part, I didn't know whether it was true or not. So I was totally a blank slate on whether or not this had actually occurred. So when I decided to take the next step, I flew from Thailand to the United States, went to Glendale, spent quite a bit of time in Los Angeles talking to key people, went to the statue there. There was actually some Japanese communists at the statue. They had read an advertisement in the Akahara, which was just a coincidence that they were there when I came. And their tour was being led by Kafka, which is the Korean American Forum of California. It's a couple of Korean people were actually just telling them the details of the statue. We then flew back to Tokyo and had quite a lot of meetings here in Tokyo with people who have been studying the issue for many years. And after seeing a great deal of evidence, I also flew to the Philippines on my own, by the way, researching it. And I'm not even anywhere near finished researching this issue. We have a couple of Thai researchers working on it in Thailand at this point. And actually, everywhere we look, it's become clear that this is a false narrative. It's completely fake, which you probably knew 20 years ago, but I did not. But the big question is, why would anybody spend so much effort to do this? Why would they spend so much effort to malign Japan like this? And, well, I'm prepared to answer that. But first, I would like to say a lot of people, especially military people, military officers and people that have been in the military for a long time, and business people, are very open to more information about this, I've noticed. But many of the military people actually fill in the blanks when I'm speaking with them. They say, within 5 minutes, they say, this is obviously not true. And I'll explain why. There's a saying in warfare that the simplest things are the hardest. So if your commander says, hey, Captain so-and-so, you need to move these 20 cannons 20 kilometers and you have 2 days to do it. And then it starts to rain and the road is muddy and you can't move the cannons and you lose the battle. The simplest things were the hardest in Iraq and Afghanistan. Often things that seem very simple are very hard. Every general that I've known from the military, whether it's the Army or the Navy or the Air Force, they always say, I need more ships, I need more airplanes, I need more soldiers or more tanks, right? They're always asking for more because they need more. And this is where common sense comes into play. During World War II, Japan was being attacked, obviously, by the United States, Australia, the UK, and others. And there were supply problems. Some soldiers were starving. There were not enough. There wasn't even enough ammunition. No commander in his right mind would stop to kidnap 200,000 women. That makes no sense. And every military person will immediately say, this is bull. So kidnapping 200,000 women, that's only the start. Then you have to transport them, you have to guard them, and you have to feed them while your own soldiers are starving to death. This isn't spring break. That was combat. Another thing that needs to be mentioned when you're speaking with military people or business people about this is that Japan was not a third world army. Japan already had its own aircraft carriers, its own airplanes, and its own submarines from which Japan could launch airplanes and could conduct simultaneous attacks thousands of miles apart. This was a very sophisticated military. The commanders obviously were very smart. They're not going to take time to kidnap people. Another problem with that narrative is there would not be, say, 59 witnesses. There would still be at least many hundreds of thousands. Because as you know, if 200 women were kidnapped on Jeju Island in Korea, everybody on the island would be a witness, not just the women. A coconut cannot fall off a tree without everybody on an island knowing about it. And so the idea that there would only be, these small number of witnesses left is ludicrous. Every village would be filled with witnesses. Every husband and father and brother would also be witnesses. And another problem with the story is why did they not fight the Japanese army? Because if they came to Texas and tried to kidnap 200,000 women, even if the U.S. Army tried that, it would be a big problem for the U.S. Army. So just from a common sense perspective, a lot of people can actually see that it's just untrue. It's just not there.